All right, we are live and full in effect. Hi, everybody. Wow, getting us started off with another lovely episode on the Melanated Council. Bam! Typically, we will start going live at Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and wherever else you're in between those times, that's when we're going live. And as always, thank you for liking, subscribing, and joining the show. And if you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, enjoy the show. Also, don't forget to share, comment, things of that nature. And so, before we dive into our topic for tonight, how's everybody's doing? How's everybody's weekend? Like, what's going on with you guys out there in oh, cyberspace, I guess that's the word, virtual space, whatever the case may be. Just checking in, making sure that everybody's doing okay, that everybody's all right, that the weekend's going according to plan ish, you know, and always, doing, hey, Liz, hey, how's it going, Liz? Good to see you. Stating, okay, okay, yeah, you know, like I said, sheesh. How was your weekend? Oops. It's okay. I got it. I got it. I'm good. I'm good. I know yesterday in my city we did like a not necessarily like a Martin Luther King march, but we lined up the one side of the street of downtown, just held up signs due to the fact typically we'll have like a big march from the from the city hall, and it kind of goes down to one of the bigger churches in the city, and from there we do like a little potluck, everybody gets together and eat, and from there we have like an actual full-fledged program, just pretty much uplifting what Dr. King has done, and as always making people aware that there's still work that needs to be done. That where his where he ended, as far as him carrying the torch, that's where we need to pick up and continue going on because there's still work to do. There's still a whole lot of work to do, and so that's what we did yesterday. And I would say out of the years I've been living here, I think the only one I missed was last year. But I made it a point to make it to come out this year and whatnot. But it was still cold. It was still brutally cold. Still brutally cold. And even with the snowsuit that I got on for Christmas and the hoodie, the hat, and the gloves, it was not perfect at all. But we got a lot of people honking that drove past. I might be in the newspaper. I don't know. I know my mom for sure. She's going to be in the newspaper. But besides that point, you know, it was just fun to be out there. It was good to be out there. It was good to basically let people know that, hey, there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be done. And rather than turn a blind eye to it, like, come out, support, do what we got to do, and have those tough conversations because without those tough conversations, nothing's going to change. Pretty much everything's going to be still stay the same and be as status quo. Like, nah, he ruffled feathers. We should do the same thing too. So that's what I did yesterday. Over the weekend was pretty cool. The weekend was pretty cool. The weekend was pretty cool. Um, though it didn't do a whole lot. Did a little bit of cleaning here and there. Not nothing too crazy or too weird, but did some cleaning here and there. And even then, just um, making sure everything around the house was taken care of, making sure that mentally preparing myself for school this week. And even then, according course, my oldest had a basketball game. And in between me coming home from said basketball game to coming home, I had a message from my principal, aka my boss, who asked if I could stay in sub the rest of the week for the fifth grade class. So I'm like, okay, cool, great, because one of the students asked me if I was going to stay there for the rest of the week, anyways. So I'm like, okay, why not? But before we go on, I would like to introduce my other host. I don't call them co-hosts because they've been rocking along with me since day one. So I treat them as my equals. And so let's give it up a round of applause for the lovely, for the illustrious. I know she won't crack a smile like this anyways. The illustrious L.
Yeah. Thank you, Ron. And you know me too well. Like the illustrious. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's always nice being introduced by you. Sorry I'm late.
No, you're not. You are right on time. The party don't start until you walk in.
Oh. Well, it's a lot of pressure to be the party.
Hey,
Or the
that's
party
okay.
starter, rather.
Look, if Jermaine Dupree was able to get the party started and it was already going on closing time, he walked in like, oh no, we keeping it going. If he can do it, anybody else can do it. I don't care what nobody got to say.
You're not wrong.
So yeah, so pretty much it was just going through the usual, the our check-ins, and I know Liz said she was staying warm and whatnot. And Liz, if you did anything else over the weekend, please feel free to drop it in the chat so we can highlight it and everything else. And so I was pretty much saying that I'll be subbing the fifth grade class for the rest of this week. I started today, and I actually got some good news
Okay.
and whatnot. And so the time that I am talking to my principal, aka my boss, as far as coordinating sub plans and whatnot, I also got messaged and text message and called about a possible promotion interview. And so we're coordinating on getting that squared away tomorrow for a different position at a different school. So we're working on trying to get that sorted and figured out and fine tuned and whatnot. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
So we got that going.
All right.
And I know if I do take this position, I know a lot of my students are going to be hurt, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes.
That's awesome news, but I can understand. Like, you gotta, I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta do what's best for you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's awesome that you've been, enjoying, liking teaching and enjoying the kids and all that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And even then, like, some of the staff that I've helped since I started back in October. Yeah, since I started back in October, towards the tail end of September, going into October. That's when I kind of officially started. And even still, just like helping around the classrooms, checking in, make sure everybody was okay, make sure the kids are okay. If I can help out in any way, shape, or form, it was good just to kind of hear that hey, thank you for showing up, thank you for being here, and everything else is like, oh yeah, you're welcome. But leaving that to go to somewhere else is like, ooh man, that's going to suck, because today actually one of our other staff members quit. I don't know why, but they quit.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, on top of position, which is yay, but it's like, dang, we're already short staffed as it is, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And the bulk of it is COVID.
Right,
The
of course.
bulk of it is COVID, and then on top of that, there's a possibility that the school district could be going remote. There's a
Mm,
possibility the school district could go back to remote learning. So we got to wait and see what happens tomorrow, especially if more and more kids are not in attendance. That's going to be the possibility as far as Thursday and Friday goes of remote learning.
okay. Yeah. So I actually don't even know. I'm guessing Michigan or your part of Michigan, like it hasn't even hit the peak yet.
No, not even. And what's crazy is I have family members that live in Kalamazoo. It's a city that's about 45 minutes north of Three Rivers.
Oh.
And even then, a lot of the schools, they haven't been in person for what, a year and a half now. Maybe going on 2 years since they've been in person. And they're still like kind of navigating that weird, do we want to go back to in person? Should we stick with virtual learning or go hybrid where half the time is spent at school or the other half is spent at home? So they're still trying to navigate that. And even then, there's like churches who aren't even open to full capacity.
Mm,
It's like basically like a skeleton crew, and then that's it. Everything else is done online. So it's still just up in the air. And one of the people I go to church with, she was saying that her district, which is like 2 counties to the west of me, they're already um, putting into play as far as going back to remote learning due to the fact of the number of COVID cases are steadily rising,
mm.
with again the bulk of it being teachers and students. So it's like it's yeah, yeah. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Is teachers and students, and however, it's the parents who really don't take the precautionary measures of masking up. If they don't want to get the vaccine, they're like, well, we don't want to get the vaccine, but we also don't want to mask up. So it's like, so how are you going to help the situation if you're not,
Exactly.
like, if your kid wants to go to school, make sure they're provided with at least something to go to school so they can be safe,
Hmm.
you know?
Right.
And it's crazy. It's so crazy. Like, come on, really? So, got to figure out what's happening in her neck of the woods and see what is going on, because she's in a role where where she's kind of like the like a counselor, so to speak.
Hmm.
So if the kids kind of misbehave, she gets that phone call, handles the kids, and also does the phone calls if kids are a close contact with somebody who had tested positive for COVID. She makes those phone calls, and she said it's a mess. It's a mess. So it's like, I feel you. I feel you. So we'll see. We'll see. Come tomorrow, have a better idea what's going on.
Okay.
So
Man.
yeah, it's weird. I won't say it's weird. It's just it's frustrating that,
We're still here.
yes, it is. It is frustrating that we're still here, and it's like, people, get it together. You know, we
Hmm.
all know COVID is not really going necessarily. It's not going anywhere. But at the same time, knowing that it's not going anywhere, don't you think you want to protect yourself? You know?
Right. Exactly. It's like, um, man, I just lost my train of thought. It's it's like it's been a year, of over a year. It's gonna be damn near 2 years in 2 months. And nobody likes this. No, I haven't heard of Dane Calloway. I don't even know that name sounds familiar. But every time like a name sounds familiar to me, it's like, well, I've heard the name Dane, and I've definitely heard the last name Calloway. So I don't know if like I've heard them together
Right, right.
or just because
Yeah.
I've heard them separately. Like it sounds familiar. But yeah, so like we've been in this for like damn near 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much, and people are still like on square one. Like, and I'm not understanding. I'm not getting it because at this point now, everybody knows someone who has gotten COVID, or someone, or like, there's everybody knows someone who at least knows someone who has died from it.
Yes.
Like, I don't think I know anyone personally that has passed away. I was trying to think about this the other day, like if I heard of anybody. I don't think so. So far, it's always just been like me hearing somebody, like one of my friends or family members telling me about, a
Mm-hmm.
coworker or someone who died of it. So it's
Yeah.
not that many. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but like I feel as though it's not that many degrees of separation that someone who's passed away
Mm.
this from this virus, and he hasn't done this for at least 40 years. Okay,
Okay.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Like we all know somebody who like there's not that many degrees of separation between like the severity, um, and it's just really frustrating how like people just are still not taking it seriously. Like I
Mm.
personally know people who've gotten it. I've known people who've gotten it twice. And granted, yeah, like they're still, kicking and thriving and doing fine. But it's not like I don't know like who they may have but it's like you don't know who could have affected someone who could have affected someone who could have affected somebody, and it's like you just have to play your parts. Like, oh shit, I can control, like, I find out today, I can control what I can do today. So it's like, let me mask up harder and try to stay away from people if I
Mm-hmm.
have to be around people, or if I can take the time off and stay home, let me do that. Let me try to quarantine. Let me just try to, be away from people as much as I can. Like, because you can
Right.
only do so much. And I get that. I understand that because honestly, our government sucks and they put this in this fucked up situation where we feel like rats in a cage where we're just like sort of like experiments at this point,
Mm.
um, in more ways than one. And it's just like right, and you're just put in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry, Liz.
Yeah.
Liz's cousin's coworker, or had a coworker who died. Yeah, like
Yeah.
we're not that many degrees separation from you know fucking death, or just a like a tragedy, or someone's life just being completely changed. Like
Right.
every second, one of my sisters um always tells me about like someone, like her friend or her friend's mom or someone like that. And it's like died, got really sick. Now they're on like these meds. Now they're on this. Now they're on that. And it's just like, you know, yeah. Um, I don't know if they necessarily promote junk food and health deteriorating products sample. I know that they push the vaccine, but I don't know if they necessarily promote. But exactly who is they? I understand that they're not necessarily not promoting it, which I guess in a way is, making it seem as if that's like
Mm.
okay. But I mean, sometimes you have to understand like people's monetary situations and things like that. And because of like something like this just happens so suddenly, it's hella difficult for someone to just completely change like their diet. Of course, a lot of people did change their diet because of the pandemic, and like definitely try to get it like a lot healthier and things like that, which is good. It's just like that, psychologically can't work for necessarily everybody.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, Liz, I'm not entirely sure who. who they is. Uh, oh, you're talking about like our society. Is our I mean, I guess because junk food is everywhere, like McDonald's and shit like that.
Hmm.
That's like a form of promoting. I mean, like,
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's because it's consumerism and capitalism. Like, we're not necessarily like, you know, people say the KFC in Jamaica is better than KFC in the United States. Unfortunately, I've yet to try the KFC in Jamaica.
Hmm.
So it's definitely on my list of things to do
Right.
whenever I go back. Um, I wanted to go back in 2020 because I was like, yeah, I got money, I got time, I could go and go to Jamaica, you know, again and actually like visit family. So,
Right.
but now then 2020 happened, and all the family I was going to visit is like really old, so like my grandma's. So it's like, yeah, that wouldn't have been helpful.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
but so
Well,
what I'm saying about the KFC in Jamaica is like it's probably just made with better, healthier ingredients. Because I know that in America we just have like a whole bunch of processed, disgusting food. Um,
yeah. Yeah. And I was going to say too, to kind of add to Sample's point, I could see where he's coming from
for sure, yeah.
because that back in the Obama administration, basically, especially with Michelle, it was always promoting like healthy food, healthy choices, doing something healthy besides what the traditional norm was,
Mm-hmm.
and basically putting it out there that by living this type of lifestyle, you're almost hurting yourself. Again, pre-COVID, and so it was more so of a campaign to kind of help, especially kids, those who are obese or over the obesity line, and they're trying to get them to come back. Those who are making unhealthy food choices, and kind of go down a different way. It was like, yes, you can be healthy. Yes, you can be fit. You can do all these wonderful things and whatnot. So it's like, why not, put the people who are in charge of regulating our food and regulating what we do on a day-to-day basis, why not kind of hold them accountable? It's like, what you're doing, yeah, we get it. You're trying to make a dollar, but why make a dollar at somebody's expense?
Right, exactly.
Why do something knowing that you're hurting the next generation? And I think what documentary I watched like a couple years ago. It kind of talked about, there was a guy who went to one of the big food chains, and basically he went and tried to have a conversation with one of the meat processing plants, and
Okay.
basically what he got away from was, sure, a lot of things that they're doing under regulation, quote unquote, but they were still getting away with um, not having certain meats meet the code, or paying somebody off to kind of turn a blind eye.
Okay.
And even then, the conditions of where these factories were not the best conditions, but yet at the same time, these are the same places where we get a lot of our meat from. So it's like, okay, thank you. And these said same companies are also pretty much lobbying Congress as far as making sure that a lot of the things that are done pretty much stays out of the watchful eye. So it's like, okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. You know, uh,
I did want to say, I find it really ironic how when Michelle Obama was promoting like healthy food and eating habits, especially for like kids, like
yeah,
especially, and also like definitely promoting it like in the schools and all that, she got a lot of shit from, like the Republican side for that, which is really weird.
Yeah, right.
And like when COVID hit and like they found out that like obesity and like I guess like comorbidities due to obesity and like unhealthy eating habits and things like that was a massive detrimental factor again for if you catch COVID, then it's going to have serious detrimental effects, and it can be possibly lethal.
Yeah,
And a lot of like the same, I'm sure it was probably the same motherfuckers who were like mad at Obama for like promoting healthy eating habits and like exercise were the ones who were like, oh, you shouldn't. It's like, well, I'm not gonna wear a mask. You just have to take vitamin D, go out in the sun, exercise, lose weight. How come they're not talking about that? Just eat better, blah blah blah. It's like, oh, okay,
yeah, right,
okay.
right. We've already had this rodeo, but you were saying no, no, no.
Like, I want
But,
my burger. It's like, okay, no one's saying you can't.
right?
Just maybe
You
not
know,
like 3 burgers a meal.
yes. Maybe well, I can't even say turkey burgers because turkey is no better anyways. But whatever. That's a different segment for a different time.
Right.
But coming back and I still want to keep this fresh. Like, how was your weekend, Al? We got to talking about food and COVID and this, that, and the third. Like, I still want to make sure that you get a chance to speak about your weekend. What did you do over the weekend and any plans? And uh,
I didn't know we had a Robert E. Lee Day. We have a Lee County in Florida. Apparently, tomorrow is Robert E. Lee Day in Florida. And Mark can't wait. So,
I'm not even
so
going to ask. I'm not going to ask.
it's a joke. But uh, oh, so what did I do over the week? Oh, I brewed a porter, like a gallon porter. It
Oh,
was my
nice.
first. Yeah, like it's not gonna be done until like next month. So I brewed it by myself. It was my first time brewing by myself. I figured I could handle it because it was a gallon. Usually I do like 5 gallons, which is like 48, 50, 12 ounce, like regular size bottles of beer, which is a fuck ton. So I was like, yeah, let me, especially since I'm, new to this, let me not do 5 gallons this time and do 1 gallon,
Yeah, there you go.
like a little baby gallon. So I was like, okay. It was far less messier, thank God. And
Hmm.
I got to use like these like 1 gallon jugs, like these glass jugs, and it's kind of cool. But like I really had to. I bought 1 10-pound bag of ice, thinking that was going to be enough ice, and I guess it probably was. The only issue was you have to like after you boil it, put all the ingredients and boil it. You have to like immediately try to cool it down from like boiling temperatures to like 60 to 70 degrees. So it's going to take
Hmm.
a while. And, ice helps, especially like ice, like an ice water bath.
Okay.
Still in the container. I'm not like pouring it into, no. So like still in the pot.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Gotcha.
so, I have like a food thermometer and it worked for the first 2 batches, but this batch, I guess it just knew that I was doing it by myself. So it's like, I'm not going to work correctly. And it's not like that's a really easy thing to notice because I don't know what temperatures are. Like, I don't, like, I don't know what the temperature is of of the water here. It's like a little cool, like it's been cool out. So like the water's a little, like, the room temperature water is a little bit cooler, but I can't tell. And I'm not going to stick my finger in the freaking beer because that's going to contaminate it. And even though it's tempting, but like the water, like, like I filled the sink and I put like ice in it and I put like a cutting board to like kind of divide the water in a way, even though like the whole entire thing, like the sink filled with water, was just to put the ice to make the ice not go all over the place in the sink. It was just to
Mm-hmm.
keep it near the pot. So, I was like doing all this shit and I was feeling like the water. I was like, I don't know why it's still saying 88 degrees. And I put the thermometer in the ice water and it was starting to say like 92. I'm like, it's not 92. I don't like I don't know exactly what temperatures feel, but I know that 92 is kind of hot. That's a
Yeah.
little that's like warm. It's like this is definitely not 92. That's like why the hell is it saying that like the beer is 88 and then like the ice water is 92? It's like something's not right. so, so I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't know what temperature this is. It's taking a long ass time to cool down. It's like it's probably cool now. Let me just risk it. I don't know what the temperature is.
Mm.
So, I poured it into like into the glass jug and I sealed it up and everything, did all the stuff. And it sounds like it's, doing its thing. Like there's like you have to put like an airlock on it with like some water in it. So like you can hear like the bubbles to show that like air is being released or like
Mm.
gases or something's being released to, I guess, for the fermentation process.
Mm.
So
Okay.
it sounds like it's doing that. So I hope that it's at the correct temperature. I hope it's going to taste good because I'm not going to find out until a month. And yeah, that's all I can hope for.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. It will be a month wait to figure out if it's good or not. But you know,
yeah, but at
go
least it
for
did.
it. There you go.
So I don't know what I want to brew next. I do have a 5-gallon Belgian ale kit that I'm definitely going to have my
Mm.
friend help me with because that seems to be like a really long process. Looks like it's going to take like 3 months, which is crazy. So I guess in the meantime, I could try to brew like smaller 1-gallon batches. I do like the 1 gallon because it's like, yeah, it's just a lot less messy. I
Yeah.
don't have to take this ginormous ass pot. I could just I have like a normal size pot because it's just like 1.25 gallons.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, I got to figure out like a better ice bath for it though. but that's pretty much it. But I'll see how this turns out. Hopefully, it turns out normal. like, hopefully, it just like passes. I just don't want it to. I don't want it to just taste like absolutely just like garbage.
Oh man, like I waited a month for this. No.
oh, exactly. That's that hurt.
Oh. Oh, that would suck. Oh, I'll be mad for you. Oh, I'll
yeah,
be mad for you.
I know. So it's like let's fingers crossed. It's gonna taste good. That was that was like the main thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
On Sunday, I just like what did I do? I washed my hair, which for Black people is like a thing. You know, it's something to like mention of what you did over the weekend.
Yeah.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
so I washed my hair. I got a blow dryer and like this attachment thing to the blow dryer that you could. It's like a dome, like at the
Oh.
hairdresser. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't know, like a cloth, plasticky dome, polyester. I don't know what the material is exactly. And it's like there's like a tube, and then you put like the blow dryer into the tube,
Mm-hmm.
so it blows up, and then the dome, so it feels like you're in almost at a hair salon, like a
Mm.
children's hair salon, essentially. like,
Okay.
but like it worked. Like I wasn't under it for too long. I was just sort of testing it because I got it for Christmas. Like it was on like my Amazon wish list for a long time. So I was like, let me just ask for this for Christmas because I don't think I'm really gonna just buy this weird dome thing for myself. Also, I need a blow dryer. Yeah, but I mean, it seemed like it worked. Like my hair
There you
definitely
go.
looked nicer, and it's been a little bit cold out, so I didn't want my hair to just air dry in the cold.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
I couldn't turn up the heat because I brewed the beer, and it needs to stay at like a certain temperature the next
Oh
2 weeks.
yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like you had a fun-filled weekend and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Trying things,
There you
trying
go.
out my new toys.
There you go. There you go. Let's see. In Mississippi and Alabama, Robert E. Lee Day is celebrated on MLK Day.
How big is this celebration, though?
Yeah. Like, that is the most weirdest thing ever. It was like, for what, really? Like,
Last Sunday was like Law Enforcement Appreciation Day or something.
okay. I think I missed that memo.
Yeah, no, Biden made a tweet about it. That's how I found out.
Oh, you know what? That's probably the reason why I probably excommunicated myself off of Twitter for,
I mean, I don't blame you. I never blame anyone for not
Uh,
for leaving Twitter.
yeah, I mean, I'll don't get me wrong. Guess I'll come on there. I'll retweet. I'll tweet a little few stuff. But other than that, as far as the 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 drama and the fighting that goes on Twitter, I'm like, yep, y'all remind me why I backed away for for X amount of months and years now. Like, I'm good. I'm straight. I got too much going on.
Mm-hmm.
But well, why is it there? Because I guess
And that's what she said.
ah, ah, ah.
Doesn't matter how big it is. Why is it there?
Oh man, I would hate to be on the opposite end on that. Like, I don't know how to feel. Like, uh,
Oops.
I don't know if that's a oops. I don't even know if that's a oops. The,
Hey, Toby.
hey, Toby. Yeah, like, I don't know. That's kind of a weird, awkward situation because you don't know if you want to argue or leave. It's like, yeah, yeah, we're gonna leave that one alone. So for anybody who has this said to them, you figure out what happens and you tell us how you responded, whether verbally or non-verbally, and we'll go from there. Oh snaps, that's funny, but yeah, and complain about critical race theory. Yeah, and even and you know what is funny? You say that is because it almost kind of like leads into what we're going to be talking about for tonight. And especially with a lot of things that are happening around the country, a lot of things that are going on around other parts of the country, and just kind of trying to make sense about it in a weird way. You know, there wasn't one reason. Yeah.
There wasn't one reasonable Republican governor of Alabama that was like, yeah, Robert E. Lee Day can go. And it's celebrated on MLK Day. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know which came first, MLK Day or Robert E. Lee Day. Probably Robert. I don't know, actually.
Who knows? You know, who knows?
Well, no, it says Robert E. Lee's birthday is January 19th. But they celebrate Robert E. Lee Day the same days, which is like a Monday.
Wow.
It's a state holiday in parts of the southern U.S. commemorating the Confederate.
Wow. Okay.
Wait, it says January 19th was marked by the governor of Tennessee as Robert E. Lee Day in 2013. That's really fucking recent. Texas made Lee Day a holiday in 1931. In 1973, Lee Day was renamed Confederate Heroes Day. Florida statute marks January 19th as Robert E. Lee Day, although no officers or schools closed down for it. Alabama and Mississippi observe it on the third Monday in January.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you with Liz. No idea. It was that big of a deal down south. No idea.
I don't know either. In 2000, Virginia experimented with splitting Lee Jackson King Day into a separate Lee Jackson Day on the Friday before Martin Luther King Jr. Day, dropping the former in 2020. Georgia formerly called the Friday after Thanksgiving Robert E. Lee Day. Now it is only an unnamed paid holiday.
Wow.
What's Lee Jackson King? Is it like Andrew Jackson? Thomas Stonewall Jackson, which isn't good either.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I
Well,
I don't know what to say about that.
yeah, that's hella fucked up. I don't know why the hell they're trying to keep this man alive.
Who knows? Who knows?
I mean, we do know.
I mean, yeah. Yes, we do know, but at the same time, it's just the reasons behind it is like, why? Why? The man basically rallied the majority of the South, if not all of the South, and say, hey, we're going to rebel and we're going to just start our own nation.
Right, yeah.
Like, okay. Like,
And they want to be
sure.
like, oh, but he defended a cause. He was for a cause.
Right, a very inhumane cause.
Right, yeah. That goes
Okay.
against what this nation stands for, but I don't know. I don't know. This country likes to. A lot of people on the wrong side like to fight for things that they think is worth fighting for. Like,
Right.
it's like, oh, I'm not going to wear a mask, because of freedom, I guess.
Like how I try to rationalize with this. And I actually had a conversation with a few of my students, and it was funny because, of course, we had to wear masks since last week. We'll call it last week Monday, and today was the official day where we could take them off. I'm like, nah, I'm leaving mine on. And one of the students we had a conversation, but like, yeah, like, I don't really believe in the vaccine, but, I know of a person, to your point now, I know of a person who had gotten the vaccine, and it almost seemed as though like right afterwards they got COVID and then they died from it. Like, okay, I get it. I get it. And even then, he was like, well, even though I don't like the vaccine, like if I have to mask up, I don't mind masking. I'm like, okay, cool, great, like that's awesome. Like, can I ask you a question? And like, can I ask everybody a question? Like, yeah, sure. Like, how many of you guys have gotten the flu vaccine? Like, just raise your hand, just because. Teachable moment. And they all shake their hands. I'm like, yeah, yeah. Like, but have you guys ever thought about the implications of you getting the flu vaccine? No. So you just get it just because. Yeah. But have you ever caught the flu? No. Like, interesting. Like, don't get me wrong. Are there some things I'm a little sketchy about with the vaccines? Sure. But still, if me being vaccinated is going to help, you know, my neighbor who I see pretty much every day of the week because his son comes over in place of my son, why not protect myself because of him? Or protect myself because of somebody else. And even then, wear my mask because I know it's gonna work. And it almost seems like as though, like you can see the gears and the wheels turning. Like that kind of doesn't make a little sense. Makes a lot of sense. Like, yeah, you know, it's okay. Just understand that not only are you protecting yourself and helping yourself fight off against the COVID variations that come out, but also at the same time, you're protecting somebody else as well. So just think of it like the next time you decide to get a flu vaccine, just think about the COVID vaccine as well. Just think
Yeah.
about it. You're like, oh, okay. So,
And there's like a lot of things that and this will be like my last thing. And
yeah.
there's a lot of things that we use and we don't know every single thing that's in it. Like, for example, a cell phone, which we all have. Some of you are listening to us on one. Do you know every single part that's in this in your phone? Do you know every single chip? Do you know what every single chip does? Do you know do you know how your screen is touchable? Do you know how that works?
Do you know that they
Probably
make? Go ahead.
probably not. But you trust the people who built it. Do you know how the internet works? How it's like in the air? That you have Wi-Fi and it's just in the
Yeah.
air. Do you know how that works? Do
You
you know
know.
how do you know how the internet is just the internet? How we just have stuff online? Do we
Yeah.
know? Exactly. So it's probably because we have um
No, we are not attacking you. We are not
I have to
attacking
mute
you.
my TV just started.
Oh no, we are not attacking you. It's funny because I'm also thinking like, man, you do realize there's like small amounts of radiation that comes off our cell phones. Just a small amount, nothing too big or too major, but it's just enough. Just to let you know, like hey, it's coming from there, or even like laptops, tablets, video games, and TVs. Like there's a little bit of radiation that comes out, but we would never get all into it. It's like, yeah, this is a little bit.
I think people radiate radiation.
Oh,
If I'm not, I'm probably wrong, but I feel like I feel like I think that's a thing. I don't know, but I could be
mhm.
wrong. Don't quote me. But yeah, microwaves. That's everybody's favorite go-to about radiation. That's what freaks people out. But it's like my cell phones radiate it, airplanes radiate it. When you go on a plane, but like it's just yeah, but it's not to like the quantities at least that it's going to be like harmful because scientists and experts have figured that out for us.
Yes,
So like you don't have to, but like I don't understand how people can I don't know go to McDonald's or like eat something that says now made with real chicken, now made with real cheese when you were eating it before. So you're putting stuff in your body that you thought was cheese. And now you know it's real cheese. And you still continue to eat it.
yes, or again to your point with the real chicken, like so you mean to tell me before. I was not eating a real chicken. Like, make it make sense. Or here's a good one. Here's a better one. Here's a better one. You remember when, like, back in the day, it was say like in the smallest fine print, made with possible genetic engineering or bioengineering or however it is. And now
Yeah.
now you look in those same packages, especially cereal, and it's like in big bold letters. It's like, yeah, this product may contain bioengineered ingredients. I'm like, that's real helpful to know. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we still gonna buy it anyway. Why? Because we want it. We want it now. You know, just
True.
just
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
throwing that out there.
Right. And we definitely read ingredients and we're like, Gatham gum? Okay. Or Zatham gum? I was like, okay. It's like polycystine. Okay. It's like these hella freaking lab, science lab words. It's just in the ingredients because they legally have to put that. And you're
Yes.
like, I don't know. My friend Carol ate this and she's fine, so and she recommended it. See,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, heaven forbid you take away the cinnamon toast crunch. Where's my cinnamon toast crunch? Well, it has this ingredient in here that, it may not be good for you. I don't care. I want my cinnamon toast crunch. Like, okay, fine. Oh, here, take your cinnamon toast crunch. Bye. You know.
Mhm.
But yeah, digress. I digress. So, reeling us all back in. Yes, we got you guys. How? We got you hooked. Sync
Yeah.
line. So, no, tonight, we're just going to keep this as kind of brief as possible, but we're really going to talk about, the aftermath of the assassination of MLK, and especially since we've been talking about civil rights for this whole month of January. And we just want to just highlight like a lot of the aftermath that came out from his assassination. Unfortunately, because of the fact that he was assassinated, is like we got some good things that happened. We had some bad things that happened. We had some very ugly things that happened, but they've happened. And so we're just going to highlight those, talk about them, discuss them. And for those of you guys that are in the chat, let us know. If we miss something, you guys throw it in there too as well. Because again, it's not just me and Elle having this conversation. It's me, Elle, and everybody else watching us. We're all having this conversation.
All right.
We're going to treat this as our virtual roundtable, and we'll go right along. Um, oh, come on.
Yeah. That's very true. Like I've been putting freaking blueberries and raspberries and all the berries in my in my like my protein shakes. Like when I started like really working on April, and I'm just like tired of like these protein shakes. I always just put the same fruit, but it's like I'm aware, especially when like they're more expensive. I think they tend
Mm-hmm.
to be out of season, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when they're more expensive. So I'm aware, but I'm like, I'm not gonna go to a farmer's market anytime soon, and I'm already here. So let me just bite the bullet and buy these blackberries.
Right.
And for like, I don't even know how much they cost. A lot, but I eat them all. So I guess they're not a waste.
There you go. I like what Liz said. Let's see, tomato tastes like cardboard. Oh
I
man.
really noticed. I was thinking the other, like I always think, if somebody like were to put like a gun to your head and say, call someone who could taste the difference between grape tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, plum tomatoes, vine tomatoes. I think so like beefsteak tomatoes, or like the like those like butcher steak or whatever, those big old tomatoes. Like if you could taste the
Mhm.
well, someone who could taste the difference of each, and you'll live. Don't call me. I can't taste the difference between these tomatoes. They all taste the same.
Look, oh, like, bro, you might as well just go ahead and just off me now. Like, what do you mean? Give you a chance? Like, nah, nope, I'm not taking no chances. Just go ahead and pull the trigger. Like, matter of fact, how about this? How about I help you out? How about I pull the trigger for you? So that way you had to do no guesswork. You know, point blank dry. Like, let me just do it. I'm already tired of here, anyways. Like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. You'll probably be more confused than like, wait, what? Like like, yes, sir. I am ready to go. If today is my time to go, then I'm going. Like, go. Let's go now. Like, don't stop. Don't even shoot me in my leg. Like, no, let's go. Let's go all through with this. He'll probably be the most confused person ever. Like, this man is crazy. Like, why are you leaving?
Oh no, it's fine, bro. You don't have to. Thanks, but like, but you just reminded me of like how I just been eating these berries like all year. But yeah, I feel I feel sort of weird. Like if anybody just came in and started listening to us, we're talking about like food and COVID, and it's titled MLK after the assassination. Like,
Wait, what?
it's like, why are you talking about?
Yay.
It's like, why are you guys all happy?
Hey, me. I know. They're like, wait, what? What? Like, what does has to do? What does talking about food and vaccinations have to do with MLK Day? Like, well, maybe it's a little bit. It's a lot, though. We're going to try to
No, we're
weave it
not.
all together, but we're going to try. But even in the video we try, because of the fact that you still stopped here and we got you a good laugh in, we've done our job already. Boom.
Yeah, yeah, true.
But no, no. We're gonna try to dive in. We're gonna try to dive in. So um again, thinking about MLK Day and thinking about Martin Luther King and the legacy that he started, you know, though yes, he was assassinated way early than what he was intended to be. But because of the fact that his life, and because of his life, he passed the torch on, and we're wanting to discuss what are some of the good things that came out with him passing the torch. What are some of the bad things that came out with him passing the torch? What are some of the ugly things that came out with him passing the torch? What are some of the beautiful things that came out when passing the torch? And so we're gonna just again talk about it, highlight it, and basically um, again, give credit where credit is due. Because I believe without him making the sacrifices that he did while he was alive, and while he wasn't just located or centralized in just one area or one region, that he went all over because he realized, as he said once before, um, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. You know, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like, yes, that is so true. There we go. I think so. And the one person who comes to mind, who
Okay.
I think who passed the torch, who took it after him, I would say John Lewis for sure. I would say John Lewis for sure, because of the fact that he was there with him. You know, basically every step of the way, he was there with him, and with John Lewis taking those extra steps, taking those extra strides, and basically getting elected to Congress to help facilitate how the laws are made, and especially making sure that anybody who was affected by what King did had a voice at the table. He made sure that happened, and even then, he was famous for saying, he was getting into good trouble. Why not? We should have more people doing good trouble because the status quo sucks, and we all know the status quo sucks. And like I said, I would have to say John Lewis, definitely John Lewis, definitely John Lewis. And again, he's gone. He passed away as well. Shout out to John Lewis and his family. But yeah, John Lewis definitely. If King passed the torch off to anybody, John Lewis. He caught it and he ran with it, and he did a marvelous job. In my opinion, he did a marvelous job. Was he perfect? By any means, no. But at the same time, he still kept it going. UL?
One of the things I wanted to mention, and it's embarrassing, but I learned about this during the George Floyd protest after his killing. Like some, I feel like he was like an ADOS dude was on, I don't know, like Fox News or something. I don't know who he was, but like he was saying, I guess like they were trying, like the host of Fox or that particular host, I think it was Fox, I don't know, was trying to say like, oh, like what's the like, oh, like places are getting destroyed and stuff, and the protests, like what's this going to solve, blah blah blah, this and that. And he mentioned after MLK's assassination that there were riots for like 2 weeks or something like that, like all over. And I didn't really know that. It makes sense for that to fucking happen, but it was like I felt like that was just swept under the rug
Mm-hmm.
real hard, and like it's just I just felt really really like ignorant and naive for not even knowing that or even thinking that. Um, and so what ended up happening was that there like over 100 cities about where is it? Where is it? Yeah, like riots broke out in over 100 U.S. cities, and it said like there was $65 million in damages, and historians believe that the riots are what fueled the new rising Republican right, which ushered in Nixon's presidency later that year, which is very, I don't know, just like on point for America.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like not surprising. They were like, oh, like they're probably like the Negroes have gone wild. We have to shut them up and put them back into their place and blah blah blah. And, that kind of thought process. So they, ushered in Nixon, who was just a fantastic non-controversial president. If you ever knew. Being sarcastic. Thank you, Barack. So, like, it was but like also like because of the riots, I'm trying to find it. There was like I'm trying to like find like there were like a lot of like laws and like stuff were passed. I believe like housing laws were passed. I think especially like in Chicago. And I think that's what like Lyndon B. Johnson, he passed something. I'm shitty at remembering this. I remember from the documentary I watched like 2 weeks ago. So that happened to me, like, afterwards. But I guess I wanted to mention is that it does seem as though, like, when riots occur, change happens.
Mm-hmm.
Not like promoting rioting. I'm just saying it's disgusting when it has to come down to that, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what people are out here itching to do. It's not like people really just want to, throw a freaking trash can into an Italian restaurant, like, and do the right thing. But yeah, and I believe yeah, MLK said it's like rioting is the voice of the unheard. I don't know if that's the exact quote, but it's something like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's true, because if nothing else is working, like, if you have to, have like these organized protests, if you have to, do these things, like, when it's like peacefully done, nothing really happens, because think about it. Martin Luther King promoted peaceful protesting, you know, he promoted, like, that was everything that he did. He didn't promote violence at all. He was staunchly against that. But they assassinated him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not as though when he was peacefully protesting, um I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Well, it's not like when he was like peacefully protesting, like black people were out there rioting, or anything like that. We're peaceful people. We were most likely just out here, like they were following Martin Luther King. Yeah, there were some, more so radical um, leaders during the civil rights era, for sure. Um, like, more like, people could argue that Malcolm X was, like, more radical. Um, the Black Panther Party, which I think was formed a couple of years after MLK was assassinated. Um, and was it like Stokely Carmichael? He was a little bit more radical
Yeah.
as well. Um, so I mean, I'm not versed on, you know like what was, definitely going on during, like Stokely Carmichael's followers, or MLK, or Malcolm X's followers. And I'm not a historian, so it's not like I know every single inch of everything that happened during those times. So please do not quote me. Um, but it wasn't, like, to reiterate, that wasn't until after MLK was assassinated that the riots broke out and then change happened, which is, fucked up, because that's not what any of us want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like you keep pushing us to this point. It's like, hey, can you make this change? Yeah, sure, I'll get around to it. Hey, can you make this change? Yeah, sure, whatever, I'll get around to it. And then, you start tearing some shit apart, and then it's like, oh, okay, 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 okay. But it's not like it happens after like 2-3 weeks. This is like decades, sometimes centuries, of like, can we get this shit done? Can we get this shit done? Can we get this shit done? And it's just never, at any sort of rush. It's never at like a, all right, this is like the first thing. Like, they may advertise that in like their political campaign runs, like, oh yeah, this is going to be the first. So it's like they fucking know, but then when they, get into office, they're just like, yeah, I'll do that maybe on my second term when
Mm-hmm.
I'm bored. or something like that. So yeah, I said it was the number one thing, but in reality, I want to, I don't know, do something stupid like, I don't know, make like National Lobster Day or some bullshit. Anyway, are protests impactful today? Do you think they're an effective tool in 2022? Honestly, I don't know.
Hmm.
Like that's I, I don't know cuz there's certain like I feel like there are certain things that need to be changed that like, protesting and voting can't resolve for one.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah, so you just have to hope that you elect a bunch of it's like almost kind of like a hand in poker or something. It's like you just hope that this hand, these group of individuals that you voted in, um, all align to get like the best score in terms of like get like the most amount of points. Clearly, I know how to play poker, and, and but in order to like pass and enact laws that us voters can't do anything about, because there's a lot of things like as we learned from Donald Trump's presidency and even my state of Florida, Ron DeSantis's governorship, like what shit can't be done, and like how they could just be like, oh, the crazy internet people think that we need to run protesters over. All right, I'm just gonna make that legal now, and like, but it's not like the people voted on like, hey, can we make running over people legal? No, yes, like, can we vote on? No, we just have no fucking say.
Hmm.
So, are protests impactful today? It seems like they're only impactful if somebody dies, either to ignite a protest or during a protest. If people are just out here protesting, and there hasn't been like a major death, then people will just find protests to be an inconvenience and a nuisance. It's like I have to get to work. I have to, get to the hospital. I have to, and it's like I understand. I'm not trying to, mitigate that at all. It's just I don't know. It's like I don't know. Like I don't know if like as sad as that may sound, like I didn't go to any of the Black Lives Matter protests. I wanted to, but I was honestly just afraid of of crazy ass
Hmm.
people who get their news source from like this one person, and they're thinking like, oh, you know, this is bad, and these people are bad, and I'm the one good one, and I need to you know drive to a different state and shoot at protesters and or something like that. It's like, yeah, granted, it was like a 35-minute drive, but it's like, if you didn't go, those people would still be alive.
Hmm.
And, like if I were to go to a protest and like that, and you see like what happened, I don't even have to say this person's name. Um, like imagine, like those two people who died, like that's like, they had family, they had friends, and all that. Now they're just gone, and the person who killed him, everybody knows, and it's just like, he's like a celebrity now. Like that's fucking terrifying, and that could just literally be my life. Like that could literally just like how my life ends, and the person who killed me could just be celebrated.
Right.
And that's a really, it's I honestly never really thought about that, but that's absolutely disgusting. It makes my stomach churn, and that's just the reality of the country that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I guess to answer your question, Barack, honestly, I believe no. I think I do appreciate when people protest. I hope that it makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it does based on history. Something drastic needs to happen for things to change. Like someone has to die, or someone has to die during a protest, and for things to start being seen as serious. It's good. Like the good thing about protests is that it brings people to the attention.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the fact that 5,000 people stormed the Capitol last year, and there were, to my knowledge, no protests, but yet they were all organized enough to go there, goes to show that you don't really need a protest to be organized. It's it makes like a massive buzz around the world. Like it was cool that there were Black Lives Matter protests all over the world. Like that was really cool because everybody saw George Floyd die for no fucking reason. Um, but it's like, how fairly am I going to be treated in those countries? How fairly am I going to be treated? Like, and it was in every state. I believe there was a Black Lives Matter protest.
Mm-hmm.
But like, how fairly am I like my individual self going to be treated? You know, like if I were to go to even some of these states, like probably not a lot. Probably not. I'm probably not going to be treated equally. I don't think that, like, I doubt protests will ever make this country not racist enough for me to walk every inch of it and feel safe. Like, to be quite honest, I don't think that can logistically happen. And yeah. So long story short, I know I answered your question like 45 times, but no, I don't think protesting is impactful today.
Mm-hmm. I would have to agree with L. And I would think, well, actually, I wouldn't think. I would say, in order for protests to be effective, especially now, they have to be organized. They have to be very organized and very um, driven to the point. Like there has to be a a conscious effort of why we're protesting. And when you look at the civil rights movement and the reason why they were protesting, because of the fact of why they were marching, it was because of, though yes, segregation became very illegal, but because of the fact that you still had certain businesses still doing discriminatory practices, that's not right. You still had people who were suffering because they lived on one side of the railroad tracks. That's not right.
Mm-hmm.
And you still had people who were very much qualified to have a good paying job to set their family straight for the rest of their life, but necessarily couldn't do so because of A, B, C, and D, versus somebody else who wasn't qualified got the same position, and it was like, okay, that's not right. Like, where do we draw the line? And I feel as though that the protests today, they're not organized enough. Wow, y'all, we got somebody who just showed up to the party and whatnot, and we're gonna continue on this conversation because we got a third host who just showed up. So let's give it up for the one and the only Toby. Woo, 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 woo. What's
Not
up?
on the
What's
spectrum.
up?
Hey.
Good to
Hey,
see y'all. I was
good to see
not
you too.
fully gonna be on for everyone else. I wasn't necessarily gonna be on it, but I decided to come through and support my lovely people. In this great conversation.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, let's see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with that one. I do, and a lot of times the saying goes, "Money talks, BS walks,"
Mm.
and yeah, that is very true, very true.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it has to be a very organized, conscious effort. It has to be, in order for that to work. I mean, even then, we'll take it in last year actually when George Floyd passed on live on somebody's live feed on camera, really, and it sparked a huge protest. It sparked riots all over the place. But the one thing that a group of individuals tried to do was, okay, if we're going to protest, why not spend our money at black owned or minority owned businesses? Why not just do that? Why not, you know, rather than give our money to the big corporations who aren't going to do anything anyways, let's give it to the mom and pop who, was walking right beside us when the protest started. Why not? Why not shop at their grocery stores? Why not shop at their hardware stores? Why not do this, that, do that, the third? That's a very smart idea. Very smart idea. And and realize that you're no longer just going to do what you want to do and get away with it. But
Mm-hmm.
again, like I said before, it all has to go back to being something very organized with a very conscious effort of this is what we're going to do. This is how long we're going to do it for these demands right here. And until we get these said demands met, or at least have a discussion about, that's what we're going to do. And everybody has to be on the same page. Everybody has to be on the same page in order for that to happen.
Right.
And even if one person is not on the same page, it's really not going to work out. Everybody has to be on the same page in order for it to work. It has to. It has to. And one thing I can say about the riots, I know might catch some flack for it, but whatever. The one thing I can say about this, the rioters, they were very pissed off, very angry, and wanted to show their frustration by destroying buildings and businesses and whatnot. And it was like, I get it. I understand why, because it's the same thing over and over and over. We try the same tactics over and over and over. It almost seems as though the only thing that actually works to get people's attentions is by um, taking money away. In a sense, because it costs money to rebuild a business. It costs money to make sure everything is insured and stocked and this, that, and the third. And then on top of that, it's going to take money to pretty much hire back the old staff again because they've been laid off because of the building got burnt down. So it's going to require some money. It's like, okay, you know, this is what happened the last time. Didn't listen. This is what happened the last time. Still didn't listen. And obviously, if something happens again, we got to be ready to listen and figure out what we need to do for not this building to get burned down again, for not this building to get destroyed again. You know, and even then, just watching the video clips, I mean, you guys saw them all over YouTube, all over Instagram, all over Twitter, of just like the destruction that happened. And it was like, yeah, you know, this is what happens. This is what happens when people are frustrated beyond measure. This is what happens when people are pissed off beyond measure. This is what happens because though they had a common collective and a common goal, I mean, in a sense, you could say they were organized because for the most part, they vented off their frustrations and it kind of worked, you know, maybe not to their liking. Sure, people got sent to jail, you know, sure, people had to pay fines, but it worked. I would just hope that those people who are rioting will link up with the people who are trying to do something peaceful, come together and get a bigger plan, get a bigger group of people together and say, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're not going to do. And we're going to make sure this gets done because we're tired. And a lot of people during those riots with George Floyd, they were tired. They were tired of seeing the same thing happen with no consequences, no repercussions whatsoever. And so, to L's point, in order for the the impactfulness of these protests to even remotely work, you know, sad to say, it almost has to be something tragic to be like, okay, this is what's going on. This is what we need to do because obviously the old way of thinking is not working.
What kind of pisses me off is that it seems like protesting is like it's in the amendment. I think it's in the First Amendment, right? Or is it
Yeah.
in the Fifth?
For the
I
right
think.
to peacefully assemble, I think it should be the first.
Okay. So that's been like in the freaking Constitution since jump, pretty much. And it almost feels as though like
Mhm.
it still feels like we're just still being within their bounds, if that makes sense, of what to do. Because people in the 1700s said we could right to assemble or what have you, and that's why we do this. So it almost like it doesn't like protesting isn't even our idea. To it's like still within the boundaries of a country founded on white supremacy. So we're already at a loss there, I feel. Um, so it's like we have to honestly just sort of think outside the bounds, or like really
Mhm.
just go outside of that and do, I guess, what needs to be done. I don't know what that is. Like Malcolm X's "By Any Means Necessary" comes to mind, but "By Any Means Necessary" is pretty scary because it's like,
Mhm.
it's like what exactly, and it's like how far are people willing to go? But I don't know. Like it's sort of scary as to like what can change immediately versus, what can change gradually. I feel like spending, buying only shopping at minority businesses, that can definitely start a change, but that's going to take, probably like decades to really make a change. And that's with constant putting money into Black owned businesses. And a lot of people don't live near Black owned businesses. And it's like, yeah, well, there's the internet, you can ship. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's still going to take a longer time. And, there's going to be certain things that Amazon has that this Black owned businesses don't have. And also when it comes to, just like eating, like you may not live near any Black owned restaurants. You probably don't, there's probably zero Black owned supermarkets. Um, so to like feasibly do that, like it's going to take a long time for it to make a drastic impact to the major corporations to really affect like change in society. And also a lot of small businesses are white owned. Like they're like small mom and pop family owned. It's not like they shouldn't get any money. Like they still deserve business. They're just trying to make a living, just trying to, you know, follow the American dream, just trying to, make ends meet, or like that's fine. So, of course, it's not like everybody in the city or everybody in the town is just gonna buy from like the Black-owned business forever and ever and ever, amen. But like, it's it's just like not likely or not quite feasible, unfortunately. Um, so like I don't think that's going to, like will it make a difference? Yeah. Make a drastic enough difference to actually cause change? I don't. It will take a very long time, and that's like with consistency from everybody for like the rest of our lives. And it's sad as shit. It's sad as shit. And I guess like maybe, getting out of whatever bank you have and going into like a Black owned bank, it's another hit, for like the banks and things like that. So that's going to definitely make some level of change. But it's not like you could get rid of Comcast and sign up for a Black owned cable. You can't, you can't just get rid of your phone, your iPhone, your Android, and get like a Black owned cell phone. And I've been looking for a piece for this wall. Well, like I've always wanted to paint this wall red and get like a furniture piece. And I actually wanted this wall to be a Black owned wall initially, but I was just like, I can't find like like a Black owned furniture store. I mean, I probably should have I could have probably looked harder and longer for like a Black carpenter or a Black like furniture maker to see if they could make me something. I don't know how much that would cost, but I'd have been open to like spend 2,000 or 3,000 for a piece, for a furniture piece for sure. If he was or she, if they were really really good, I would have threw down that. I would have been happy, but it had been like it's for the greater good. Like,
Right.
but I ended up getting this from Wayfair instead. But it's just like the matter of convenience, time, and things like that, and searching. I still want to hang up like art that's by like Black artists. I'll try to like look for that, or push comes to shove, I might just find something online. I could probably look at Etsy. Etsy might have some stuff. I was looking at them today, but it's just like really difficult to actually do that. Barack says he disagrees. You think you could see a change in 2 years? Like, it depends on.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, I mean, yeah, true. Like, if you could, like, yeah, like if I mean, that would be like if everybody were. The first year would become a news story, then the second year, people in power would scramble to figure out a plan. I guess so.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. And you know what? You might have a point because if you look at a lot of the cities whose population is kind of majority black, or maybe like half or close to half of it being black, I can see that happening, you know. And we'll take my old stomping grounds, Grand Rapids, for an example. You know, a lot of black businesses have flourished in Grand Rapids within the last past 10 years. You know, and a lot of them, a lot of the business owners I know, probably because I went to school with them or played sports with them or against them, or some other kind of shape or form. But for them to have a lot of more cash flow to come their way, yeah, that would definitely help. You know, and even then, with the news coverage of the local news station being there to pick up the story and trying to figure out what's going on, you know, it's oh yeah, oh yeah. Let's see. Is that Kyle?
In the CV. Kyle V in the CV.
What's
Kyle
up?
being in the CV. Okay. No, I'm gonna post it up. Kyle, I'm gonna post it up real quick. I'm gonna post it up because I think you may have an interesting point. No, what's the guy here? I'm sorry. Okay, no.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's the first step, right? You acknowledge what's going on.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing that there's clearly like disparities in the system.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because
You know,
there's a fuck ton of people, and I'm probably preaching to the Kyle choir that they just think that everything is equal exactly, and there's no difference in any sort of thing. And then there's people who know of the difference and then take massive advantage of it, and that's just straight up corrupt disgustingness.
mhm.
Um, like I can never forget, and I think I mentioned this before. There was like this one cop that was caught on recording because I guess he was like in his cop car with like his partner, and this cop was talking about how this was I think in 2020 around and this cop was talking about how he couldn't wait until like they enact martial law because he's just gonna like just pretty much just shoot a bunch of n-words. And then that's one thing that was like problematic, of course. But another
Yeah.
thing he said after that, it was very smart. Like it was very calculated when he said that's going to push them back a couple of generations. And I was like, that's supremely fucked up. Like because it's like we always talk about like generation and generational wealth, especially, and how that's and
Mhm.
that's why a lot of people are wealthy, especially that's for white people, especially. So the fact that he said like, okay, he's just gonna kill a bunch of them, bunch of us rather, not them, us, um, just to push us back some generations. It's like it's like you understand racism the wrong thing. I don't know how to exactly to phrase it. It's like you understand racism too well, and you know
Mm-hmm.
exactly how to how to keep it continuing. And it's like you're a cop. It's not like you're just some random Joe. You're a police officer. So
Mm-hmm.
you probably became a police officer because in my opinion, the culture itself it seems to be like incredibly racist. So he probably became a police officer because of that. And he got arrested. I don't know. I don't think he got arrested. I think he just got fired. I think he should have been arrested.
Mm.
But he got fired, and I think his partner got fired too, because the sheriff always listens to the tapes, and the sheriff was black. So,
Ah.
so I don't know what it was about this cop, but he thought he was so, I guess, okay to be saying that kind of shit, be on record, because everything gets recorded, and you have a black boss. But I don't know if it's just the disassociation or he just doesn't care about it's like he probably just feels like, oh, they just hired him for the looks to make it look good, like we're a progressives area or city or whatever. He probably didn't care, but it's like I'm just gonna do whatever the hell I want still.
Right.
So that was mind blowingly corrupt. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess from what I was saying, it's just if you understand the disparities and you're willing to empathize and help, that's different than understanding the disparities and wanting to continue it and perpetuate it. Long
Mm-hmm.
story short.
Yeah. No. Yeah. 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 And even Blake, I'm gonna throw his comment up there too as well because I think both Blake, Barack, and Kyle, they're basically saying the same thing, just in different ways. Community has a huge impact. Honestly, I believe the best way to win a friend is to be a friend. Yes,
Mm.
if you want friends, you must show yourself friendly. Once you get to know a person, you gain understanding and ability to empathize and to empathize some faults. It's so true, so true.
I'm sure,
Which,
yeah.
which is why a lot of times, especially here in the city of Three Rivers where I live, a lot of times when it comes to anything dealing with black people, you see a nice size of people who are non-black come in to support because they understand that for a long time the black voice hasn't necessarily been heard in many different ways. And so to come out and support and to help and to do what's necessary to be like, okay, we all know that this county by far is not the best county for minorities. It's not. And a lot of times you also throw in the poor whites. It's like it's not suited for them. But they still choose to live here because they want to get away from whatever drama that they're trying to leave from. And in one way, shape, or another, it almost seems as though trouble follows. That's basically right behind them. And a lot of times the trouble is in house, meaning that the trouble was already here before minorities showed up. But because of the fact it has been turned to a blind eye for such a long time, that oh my gosh, all of a sudden we have this going on, you know, what do we do? Is like, no, it's been here. You just ignored it, but now it's gotten to the point where you can't ignore it anymore. What are you going to do? There's a lot of things that need to change. There's a lot of things that really, in a nutshell, need to be destroyed and built back from the ground up because the current structure, it sucks. it sucks, and it'll continue to suck if unless somebody or a group of people come out and say, "Hey, let's demolish this. Let's start from the ground up. Let's rebuild it, and let's make sure it doesn't happen again, and get people who want to progress rather than stay the same, keep the status quo, and be stagnant for another what 40 years, another 100 years. Just keeping that in mind. You know.
Hmm.
True. There's like a bit of a not a power vacuum, but there's definitely an opening for people who are reform minded.
Yeah,
I actually
yeah.
think the new DAs. I'm trying to remember if it was 2020 or I think it was the 2020 election. There was a new DA who was a previous police chief, I think for LA, and he was, really preaching a lot of like criminal justice reform and a lot of other stuff. I haven't really kept up with what stuff that I think he was a white guy, but like I still don't know. I haven't kept up with what changes he was trying to make, but I do think that's a valid point. If you want to change the system from within, this is a good time
Hmm.
to kind of get in. And
Oh
so the
yeah.
work is being done at every level.
Agreed. Agreed. And even then, me and the missus, we were talking, and she thought of another point. She's like, "Well, what about teachers? Why do you think there's not a lot of black teachers in the workforce?" Like, well, I know of two for sure. I know of two for sure. Technically three. I know of three for sure, and that will be a very interesting topic and see and hopefully get an understanding of why there's not enough, why there should be more, or if there are black teachers, where are they at? What communities are they serving? And just kind of get a better understanding of where to go. Because again, in order to change the system, sometimes you got to change from within. And I was told this when I was working at a bank. Sometimes the best way to change something is to do it from within.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, you're going to get hit with a bunch of criticism and a bunch of flack. But because of the fact you recognize what's wrong, you recognize that there's something missing, maybe you're that missing link to whatever's going on to get the problem rectified. And I think that just goes for anything. So yeah, I say all of that to say this. The one thing I can say that is a part of the aftermath is it's still what King tried to uncover, which is very much still happening to this day, is that we need a lot more minorities, black folks, to get into these positions of power and get some things corrected. And even then, not just black folks, but we also have our Hispanics who need to get who can get in to the positions of power. We have those who are of Asian descent who can get into these positions of power and help change things and get things rocking and rolling. Okay. Ha! Oh, you are good. You are
Yeah.
good. Carl, you are good, sir.
Appreciate
You
you.
are good. And this random person, you can come back anytime. You are more than welcome.
Yes.
You are more than welcome. You are more than welcome. We are glad to see you, though. We are glad to see you. And thank you. We will continue to do what we do best. Is that is shine light in the darkness and let folks know, hey, we ain't having that here. So thank you.
Yeah.
You get good rest. Thank you.
Oh, we also have a Discord channel if you want to join us.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
If
Hold
you're
up.
if you're
Hot
still
topic.
awake.
If you're still awake. If not, don't worry. We got you.
Yeah, and
First,
we're also here every Tuesday night.
oh, duh. Yeah, I've done some thinking. I've done some things over the weekend. Okay, go there. Boom, go there. Go there. Yes, thank you.
Oh,
Close.
Yeah.
you got a deleted message.
Yeah, I actually was just looking at it myself. Because I see
Yeah.
the message still there in our side of the chat, but then when I actually look at the Twitch stream, just out of curiosity, it does
No,
say
you know what? It might have been. It might have been. There it goes. I gotta get I gotta get the link set up, Mish. I gotta get the link set up. It might have been. It might have been. Yeah, yeah. No, you're good. It's Stream Elements, Kyle. You're good. You're
interesting.
good. Yeah, because Twitch is Twitch is trying to be more friendly in a sense, and so there are some words that you
Honky.
I don't know. I was always
yeah
thinking it could have been butt as well because he misspelled butt. Like,
That is random. Oh, you're right.
yeah,
Too.
I was like,
Or maybe, yeah, but
is
this.
that a butt or honky?
yeah.
Probably.
So I mean, Twitch is and again, y'all. No, you're good, Kyle.
No, don't apologize. It's
Nah,
fine.
Yeah, you're good. It's Twitch. Literally, it's
Yeah.
Twitch. I've been on other platforms and other streamers, and they go through the same thing. They go through the same thing. I know. Come on, be nice. It's well, hold on. Some people can't play nice with others. I've learned that from experience. Some people cannot play nice with others. Some people cannot be nice towards others, and so that's when they get sent off the timeout. But for those who can play nice and be nice to others, you are more than welcome. You know, it's just Kyle. Don't worry about Twitch. We'll take care of Twitch, and we'll whoop Twitch and let Twitch know, hey, be nice.
Mhm.
Let Kyle be free. You know.
Yes. It's like he didn't mean to misspell butt. Come on.
Like, come on, guys. No, you're good, Kyle. You're good. Go
Yeah,
ahead. If you need to get you some rest because you got to work in the morning, go for it.
yeah,
Go
for
for it.
sure. Yeah, thanks
Go
for
for it.
coming on.
Yes. Thank you
just
for
curious.
showing up. Thank you for stopping by.
How did you find this anyway? Was it just randomly on Twitch? Because Twitch seems to be randomly showing our stream. I mean, that's the nature of Twitch, I guess. But I'm curious where you ended up seeing us from, or if you
Hey,
follow us on another platform. Ah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
there
Thank
you
you.
go. What? I believe it. I
Um,
believe it. I believe it.
temporarily banned the entire channel. Just wow,
Oh,
that's
Yeah. Yeah, I hope
yeah.
like we
Oh,
don't because we actually, like we were reading some of the comments. Yeah. It's like no, we're not calling anybody the H word.
no,
or like what
no.
reading a historical document or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's the new terms of service and the way how Twitch is trying to protect the streamers. Which again, I get it. I get why Twitch is doing what they're doing. And so shout out to Twitch and kudos to them for at least being proactive. But at the same
Yeah.
time, Twitch also has to understand that a lot of different people make Twitch of what Twitch is,
Hmm.
and without them being unique in their own way, you know, where else you're gonna find some uniqueness, you know? but again, like I said, because a lot has been especially last year, especially last year, a lot of like hate speech has been going on. A lot of hate groups has been coming on, and even hate raids. A lot of hate raids have been going on Twitch as well. Which, yeah, yeah, that's a whole nother topic because I am not even gonna get into that. I'm not even gonna get into that. I'm not even gonna get into it. But like I said, Twitch is trying. Twitch is trying. Twitch is very much trying, and they're doing the best that they can. Can they catch everything? Not really. No, they can't catch everything. And will there be some strings that fall through the cracks every now and then? Certainly, certainly, certainly. But again, at least they see that people want to use their uniqueness to create content and showcase it to others and be okay with that as long as it follows the rules and the regulations and terms of service. Other than that, as long as you follow terms of service with Twitch, you're fine. You're fine. And they don't ask for much. I read the whole thing. They don't ask for much. I mean, sure, yes, this is true. This is true. This is true. But again, keep in mind, Twitch, they're trying. Twitch,
Yeah.
they're trying. They're trying to do the best that they can to create a community that's safe. In better words than none. They're trying to do the best they can to create a community that's safe. And again, yes, this is
That's
and again,
true.
this is true.
That's
This
very
is so
true.
true. This is so true. And so I think that as time goes on and as Twitch um as time goes on and as Twitch kind of just watches from a viewer's perspective, more or less, they're gonna pretty much modify not a whole lot of things, but they're gonna modify a few things to make sure that the community stays as unique as the people who call Twitch home. You know, and oh yeah, yeah, like the moderation,
Yeah.
you know, very very much like on point, and especially
True.
when when it came to like the bot farms, like they slammed that down real quick. I'm glad they were able to take care of that and make sure that those bot farms were taken care of and those bot accounts were basically purged. Like kudos to them for that part. And even in the moderation piece is like, you know, they've done a good job. I will give Twitch credit in that. They've
Hmm.
done a very good job because at one point in time, you basically could say anything and it flew. It was like, okay, well, we're gonna try to ban you and see what happens. But no, it's like more now. It's Twitch is giving power back to the streamers and the streamers community to be able to feel safe, and that's cool. So I'll give Twitch, I'll give them that. They've done some very big stuff within the last past. I would say within the last past 7 years since I've been on Twitch. The last past 7 years, they've done very well. So kudos to Twitch.
Hmm. No, for sure. I mean, like, think about it. I have yet to see like a bot constantly posting from Twitch like we are seeing on YouTube.
Yeah,
It's like, how do they not know? Or, I mean, with like the up, like the capital lowercase letters up and down and random gobbledygook.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't figure that out. I mean, I guess sometimes people comment. I don't know. I understand that it's difficult, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Twitch, like I said, Twitch is trying. They've tried, and in some parts they've succeeded. In some aspects, of course, they're going to need some work. But again, it's not perfect. They're trying. I will give Twitch kudos to that. So, to Twitch folks who are watching this, if you're going to see this later on down, whenever, if you decide to pull, we give you all kudos for what y'all been doing. So keep up the good work. Yes. I haven't been on TikTok, so I can't comment on TikTok. I can't. As many people have said, "Hey, you should get on there." I'm like, nah, I'm straight.
Yeah, you could definitely go without being like I want to be on there more, but it's there's a lot there that just is not necessary. Plus, a lot of the best things from TikTok will show up on Instagram and other platforms anyway, which is usually how I saw stuff in the first place. But even me being on TikTok every now and then, I don't really notice spam comments or like really outrageous comments. So I don't know personally about the filtering, but yeah.
Yeah, no, you good, you're good, and you're absolutely right. Because a lot of times I see them on my Instagram page too as well. I'm like, oh, okay, sweet, that was funny. Just go on.
Barack Giles Christ.
All right, Barack, I got you. I got you. I will take that, man, and I will keep that in my memory banks.
Yeah, no, like I have TikTok downloaded, but it's not on like my main like home screen. But when I first was introduced to TikTok, like I knew immediately that this shit can be hella addicting. Like it is bad. It is so like it's that kind of shit that makes me really worried about like our next generations and stuff. It's shit like that makes me think that like protesting, going out in the streets is starting to become like so pointless. And we've had this conversation about social media like a million times. But it's just the fact that it's just information constantly in like 15, 30, 60-second intervals. Now they're doing like longer TikTok videos now, but most people just do 15, 30, or 60-second videos. So you're just getting so much information constantly. And then you swipe to the next thing, get more information, swipe to the next thing and get more information. But it's a lot. Like it's scary. It's fun. It could be incredibly educational. I think this is like how kids are going to be learning nowadays. And, it's not necessarily a bad thing. But it's also just very worrisome because it's hella addicting. So, yeah, no, I probably look at TikTok once a month. I turned off all of my notifications. So I'm like, nope. Like, I feel bad because Mark sends me things. And then I don't see it until like a month later, and I'm just like commenting, like, LOL. It's like, I like this.
Ouch.
That's definitely me in general. Like, even when you send me things out, it's like, oh, this is actually really funny. But the way that Instagram, Twitter for sure is like my number one. I'm avoiding this platform. Then Instagram is number two. TikTok, I don't intentionally avoid. I just am not. I would say during the pandemic in 2020, that's when it was a problem where it was like, because I had long story, I had an iPhone for my work and they let us put whatever we want on it because you can connect like an actual personal account. So I used TikTok on there, and yeah, it was definitely a lot. Like there's so much going on. But since then, like I kind of got a new work phone and I very intentionally not put my social media on that phone. And so thankfully, I don't use TikTok that much on my personal phone. But there are sometimes I look, months have passed and someone has sent me something in the TikTok DMs, some funny thing, and I was like, oh, I glad I'm seeing this 3 months later, 2 months later, because I wouldn't have seen this if I didn't just randomly open the app.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the social media conversation is always such a great one, because it's never like going away. And then now the metaverse is a thing, so wonderful. We have more things to like protect our kids from.
You have a whole universe. You have a whole world. We have a vast universe to protect our kids from.
This is now we really need Guardians of the Galaxy.
Your supervisors of the solar system.
Yes.
Oh god.
Yes. I'll take it. I will take it. Well, oh my goodness, it's it's getting close to that time.
I've, in my defense, I've been a lot better now, Mish. I've been a lot better now.
I'm tempted to re-download Snapchat just to see what Toby posts, but like, I just hate Snapchat so much.
See, that's really the only reason you should be on Snap, is so that you can be friends with me. Because I really don't post.
I'm friends with you, Toby. Like, I'm not on Snapchat, but like, we're friends.
No, I know. No, I'm saying, I mean, to be Snap friends.
I know.
But yeah, it's an interesting place. Like, I like it because it's more isolated and it's easier to kind of like control my limits. Like Twitter, Instagram, you can just kind of scroll and be on comments and a bunch of things. But with Snap, it's pretty isolated. It's pretty contained. I'm not really worried about getting too off track with it. The worst is maybe people keep tagging each other, and now you have a chain of people tagging each other in stories. But that's it. There are no posts. There are no comments. There are no crazy things, meme pages.
Yes.
But anyways. Yes.
For sure it is.
Yeah, I'm actually glad. Like, I still can be bad sometimes with self-control, but it's a much better place than some years ago, especially like early in the pandemic, like around the time of the protests where it was just too much. Like, so many videos, like I was on Twitter all the time, just looking at all the videos of like all the horrific things happening in like New York City, Buffalo, Portland. Just, it was just so enveloping to like see things happening in real time. And because a lot of times that's the only place where things were being reported. Like Twitter was where the journalists and the sleuths were. And then that's how eventually they're like, yeah, maybe you should suspend these officers who just like pushed an old man. I don't know. That might be a good idea. So Twitter was like a really important platform, but it's too much. Like, it was just too much and too overwhelming. And I had to like make a lot of changes since. I mean, it's crazy. It's 2 years ago now, right? About a year and a half ago, since summer of 2020. But on to Tuesday, not a bad idea.
Oh man, that's funny, but I get it.
It's pretty much true.
I get it. That's funny. But yeah. Oh man, well, what I was gonna say was we're gonna try to wrap this thing up. We wanted this thing to be short, but that went out the window.
You know how we do.
Yeah, that went out the window. So before we go and and everything else, again, we just want to shout out to everybody who's came through. Mish, Rock, Liz, Kyle. I think we had Blake who was in here at one point in time. Shout out to him. Mark, I know you're probably still lurking around somewhere. Said Blake.
Sophie Warren.
Liz.
Yep, Liz. I'm trying to think, was it anybody else besides
Barack? I think you mentioned.
Yeah, it was in Barack. There's so many. Look at all our
Toby made a comment.
Toby.
Sample, actually.
Sample.
I was looking at the comments in the beginning as I was watching it, but like my dad actually had called me right around the beginning of the stream at like 9 p.m. So I was like, oh, well, now I can't even listen to the beginning of the stream. So I was looking at the comments and I was very confused because I was like, what conversation spawned this back and forth that's happening with Sample, Elizabeth, and everyone? Like, but anyway, it was good. It was a good conversation. It was just like I was missing some very important context.
Yo, you're good. You're good. We're just glad that you were able to jump in, and hang out with us. So, all right. So I know I gotta hop off. I know Elle has to hop off. I know Toby has to hop off, and I know you guys in the chat. I know you guys gotta jump off and do some interesting work on your own and get ready for work. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Y'all are the best part of my Tuesdays.
Yes.
Seriously, you guys, all y'all are the awesome ones because,
yes,
as we always say, without y'all, we just talk to ourselves. And I mean, we could talk to ourselves, but
it's more fun when you guys talk to us.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so we thank each and every last one of you guys, and even to our lurkers in the background, shout out to you guys as well. Even if you didn't chime in, it don't matter because you are here watching us on this Tuesday. We are thankful for you as well. So, Elle, Toby, any last words before we dip off for tonight?
I don't know. It's 11:11. Make a wish.
I wish upon my heart.
To fly with dragons in Atlanta Park.
Yes.
Oh yes.
That was very NSFW, but repeat it on here.
Yes.
Appreciate you and thank you. I mean, multiple of y'all, but you've had some good contributions in the Discord, and that's what it's all about. Y'all have ideas, y'all have information and resources you want to share, things you want to see us talk about. Join our Discord. It's in our bios. Pretty sure it's in all of the TMC account bios, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Join the Discord, suggest topics, share articles you think are relevant, or even just like other accounts and things that are cool.
Yeah, there you go. Going up.
Yes. How have I not even thought of that? I used to always, back when that song came out, like make jokes. There was this is my last thing. I just had to tell you because of how like dorky this is. There was like one summer I was in Texas at a university doing like an internship, and there was always these seminars on Tuesdays, and so there was this elevator that we had to take, and the elevator would say going up. So I would always be like going up on a Tuesday, but it was only the elevator in that specific building that would do that, and it was only on Tuesdays that we were in that that building. I don't think we were in that building any other day. So I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Why am I like this?
Oh, we love it. We love it. All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Come back next week. Same time, same channel, same trio, different topic. Yeah, different topic for discussion. Different topic for discussion. Let me rephrase that. Different topic for discussion, and you never know, we might bring a special guest. So tune in next week, and we will see you guys later. We love you guys. Thank you so much, and you guys have a good night. Elle, Toby, anything else?
Good night. Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Sleep well. All of that.
Sleep well.
Yes.
Stay warm.
Yes.
Yes.